Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Phillip Siddiq Show. It is our pleasure, our privilege. As most of you know, I grew up on martial arts films. I cut my teeth on all of them, and we would watch the subtitled ones and then the English ones rolled in. Fast forward to today. We have a star. She's breaking out in her first acting gig, and she is the star of Yakuza Princess. Welcome to the show, Masumi. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, tell us about the film, or I could just read the synopsis and then you can fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Okay. Set in the expansive Japanese community of Sao Paulo, which I didn't know that, the largest Japanese diaspora in the world, Yakuza Princess follows Akemi Masumi, an orphan who discovers she is the heiress to half of the Yakuza crime syndicate. Forging an uneasy alliance with an amnesiac stranger, Jonathan Myers, who believes an ancient sword binds their two fates. Akemi must unleash war against the other half of the syndicate who wants her dead.
Yep.
Welcome to the show. I mean, I'm excited to speak with you about this, and we must not forget your recording career.
Okay.
Okay, so how did you get involved with this particular film, being this is your first acting gig?
Yeah, that's right. So to begin with, I didn't really have a lot of interest in becoming an actress. I was always about doing music. And at some point recently, I wanted to take a little bit of break from music. I had been doing it for a long time, and I thought I wanted to try something a little bit different, just to, get the creative juices going in a different, field. And so I enrolled in acting school that my husband was going to. And 3 months into that acting school, I got the audition for Yakuza Princess. And that's how it happened.
Fantastic. Training for this particular film, how long did it get you to train? Because I mean, the choreography, the fighting you do, it's like a dance, but in some spots, it's a very violent dance. And what were the safeguards they used, because you're working with the katana and a samurai sword?
The katana, katana is a samurai sword. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Just the safety aspects of it, because I mean, it was very intense. And there's one scene, I call it the skull cracker, if you remember it. You remember that scene?
Yes.
Okay. That's all we're gonna say about it, but
right. Well, for the safety of it, we were practicing with plastic swords. It was not a real sword, and even the real sword, it wasn't refined, so it wasn't sharp at all. It couldn't cut anything. The weight of it was definitely there, like a real katana, because it is a real katana without being refined, and we have that specially made. For the rehearsal, we always used a plastic of it, just to kind of mime the movement, and so I could get the movement in my body. But the challenging part of it was that I had never had done stunts or martial arts or sword or kendo in my life. So
wow.
We needed to train very quickly. And I had 1 month to train and get all the movements down. And initially we had a lot more, it was a longer fight choreography that we had to cut down for the sake of the movie. But I had my husband, who is a US martial art champion. So then he came with me to train, and we trained at the dojo, and then we trained back at our apartment gym as well. So there was a lot of training within the month. Yeah.
Now, when your husband was coaching you along, did you guys actually say, bring up any emotion about training that particular way? Or was it all just laid back, or did you guys get really, really intense to where you're like, honey, stop?
I never told him to stop, because I needed that training. We started from the basics, because you can't just learn the movements without knowing the basics. So he spent a lot of time with the basics so I can, train my muscles too. And I didn't want to get hurt. And it was long hours. It was all night shoots where, your body starts to become inflexible. So I needed to prepare for all of that. That was coming in a month ahead of time. So, I mean, I would get frustrated, right? Because I wanted to get better quicker. Also the character development that I had to, like, the lines and all that I wanted to spend time with. And so I would get frustrated a few times, but I'm grateful that I had a lot of support in that.
Good. The other thing, you do show a range of emotions. And for a first-time actor, that's very, very difficult,
Oh,
especially the crying scenes.
hmm.
What did you use as a memory to pull up the scenes where you actually shed tears?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, what I've created for her, everything was very real. So um, I wasn't really planning to cry, I think. I don't know if I was planning to cry, if I wasn't planning to cry. It was just a very emotional scene. And I had been, the moment I got the script, I prepared it like I already got the role. So I had been sitting with her character for a very long, not very long time, but yeah, like a month and a half maybe. I had spent so much time on creating the memories of her. So when I had to get emotional, I was it was easy for me to get there, I think.
Okay. Working with the director, Vicente Amorim, what was that like for you? Because this is not like his first rodeo around the block. He knows what he's doing. What was that like for you being a new actor in this genre?
Hmm. Well, working with Vicente Amorim was amazing. Like you said, he is a very experienced director, and you can really tell that from the movies and the TV shows he has out there. And so I felt like I was in good hands. Just having a small meeting before I went to Brazil and watching his movies like Dirty Hearts and The Motorrad, which is his famous TV show that he directed. But coming to Brazil and meeting him was a whole different experience because he was so warm, so funny, so communicative. It was everybody that worked with him was, just grateful to be there because it was such a great chemistry on set. We had a really good uh, communicative relationship, I should say. We were very expressive of what we thought about the characters. And so I felt like I was in great hands. Yeah, it was a good time.
Great. Now, if you could take us back when you first met Jonathan, what was that like? Because I say he's not new to this action genre either. What was that like for you if you could take us back to that moment?
Uh-huh. I'll take you back to that very first moment I met Jonathan. Um, it was at the studio. He had just landed from LA to Brazil, and I met him, or I was watching him from afar and seeing how much aura he had around him and knowing how much caliber of an actor he was. I was quite nervous, working with him. So I decided to be very upfront with him. So I went up to him and said, "Hey, Jonathan, I just want to give you a heads up that this is my first time everything. I have never acted, and I'm going to need a lot of support from you and a lot of patience, I guess." And he was he was very supportive when he heard that. He said, "Masumi, I understand how it feels. I've been there before. I'm going to support you, and I'm right there with you, and I'm never going to let you do something that you would feel embarrassed of." And that's exactly what he did for me. He was teaching me, every time we worked together, he was helping me, and he was like a big brother to me.
Okay, working with the next great gentleman, I'll just say Takashi, his name, because I will slaughter his name, his real name.
Yes.
Working with him, as I said, he's familiar too. He's award-winning actor. What did you glean from working with him?
Yeah, I grew up watching him as well. He was like my childhood idol. You see him in TV all the time in Japan. Working with him, especially with sword, he taught me a lot about sword because he has a lot of experience with it. And I didn't get to work side by side with him too much. It was more with Jonathan, but he taught me a lot about sword and about the acting life of how to how to have a, oh, also actually he taught me something that was very useful. He told me when he travels in foreign places, he doesn't eat at night because your body's still adjusting to the time difference, and when you don't eat at night, then it doesn't bloat you in camera. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know that. And so